Hi, Wonder Jam friends. My name is Regan Walsh, and I am a life coach who focuses on helping people live life on their own terms so that they're able to thrive both professionally and personally. And a big part of my work is helping people set boundaries. It's one of my favorite topics. And a funny side note is a few weekends ago, I was traveling with an old college friend, and she said, "Do you remember that one time I asked you to sing in my wedding and you said no immediately?" And I didn't remember doing that, but she gave me a hard time because she hadn't even she didn't have bridesmaids in her wedding. So it was a big deal that she asked me to sing, but I did not want to be known as a wedding singer. And so apparently setting boundaries is something I've been doing for over 2 decades. So I'm going to go over 3 different things. So number one is being able to say no really starts with clarity of purpose. When you are clear in terms of what matters most to you, you are so more likely to wipe out the noise and say no to the things that don't align with your values, that don't align with how you want to spend your time. So for me, at this chapter in my life, I have my top 3 priorities are personal growth, family, and health and wellness. And I am very intentional about putting personal growth before my family. I have a husband, I have a 2 and a 3-year-old. And for me, when I invest in personal growth, taking care of just growing, learning, exploring, I am a better wife and I'm a better mom. So that's something that really helps me in my life and helps me thrive. So be clear on what it is that you need, what truly matters to you, and make decisions on what you say yes to and what you say no to that align with how you want to spend your time and the areas in your life that you're trying to develop or simply just thrive, right? So that's number one. Number 2 is all around shedding your shoulds. And I think about it this way. If you have ever been asked to do something and immediately felt a sense of dread, anxiety, annoyance, those are things that you probably felt like that you should say yes to, but they aren't aligned with your priorities around how you want to be living your life. So you need to shed those things immediately. And one of the ways I do this with my clients is telling them about the yes trap. And I'll give an example of how I fell into the yes trap. So a few years ago, when my oldest daughter was probably 8 months old, I was pregnant with my second daughter. I had a husband who traveled a lot, and I had said yes to a volunteer opportunity because I felt like I should. And here's the yes trap. So what I wanted, if you think about what signals you were trying to send out to the world when you say yes to something that's a should, for me, I was trying to send out a signal that I was still relevant. I had started my business less than a year before. I had birthed a baby. I was having another baby. I had a husband that wasn't around all that much. And to me, I wanted people to know that I was still rocking and rolling. So I was trying to send out this signal. What I was saying to myself is that my needs and my time didn't matter. So what ended up happening is my babysitter got sick for that night. I had to scramble, get somebody else to come watch my oldest daughter. And I was just so depleted. I wasn't taking care of my needs, which is so silly and absurd. And how I felt at the end of it, which is the third part of the yes trap, was depleted, frustrated, and annoyed. And so what happened is I didn't take my best energy and my best self into that opportunity that evening. And I also took that opportunity away from somebody else who would have really been a bright light, and it would have been their moment to shine. So when you say no, don't think about it as disappointing whoever it is or whatever organization. Think about it as creating an opportunity for somebody else to really shine and thrive, because somebody else is going to want to believe in that opportunity and say yes immediately. So that was my point number 2. Number 3 is if you can't say no, your yes doesn't mean anything. So think about that. The more yeses you give out, the less special they are. So when my friends, family, clients, the organizations that I am committed to, when I say yes to something, they know that I am all in and they are going to get my best energy because they know that I set boundaries and I'm not a yes woman. I don't do all things for all people because that's silly for a lot of reasons, but that's a different topic. So give your yeses meaning. Give them value and make people feel really special when you do show up, and give them everything you have. Give them your true energy, your authentic self. Before we wrap up, I'm going to give 4 tips on how to say no. So one way is to buy yourself some time. So we tend to get in this cycle where we let other people control our pace. Buy yourself time. If you aren't sure if this opportunity is for you, thank them for thinking of you. Let them know that you'll get back to them in an appropriate amount of time. It's no big deal. Think about it. Buy yourself time. Number 2, what is it? Say no to the task. That's what it is. So write down on an index card, on a Post-it note somewhere, what is the task that you're being asked to do, the opportunity. Look at it. Do I want to say yes to going to this concert or this barbecue, or say yes to this new project with a client I love? And if it's not a yes, then say no to it. Get comfortable saying no to the opportunity, and then go talk to your friend, your client, your family member about why you're not able to commit, or you're not willing actually to commit to that. I say I won't a lot, just as a sidebar, instead of I can't. So I won't be able to make it because you're just showing them that you're making a clear choice, right? Because you could. Can't is such a silly word, but you won't commit to that. You won't be able to follow through with whatever it is. So that was points 1, 2. I added in the can't and won't. What was number 3? The 90% rule. I have a cheat sheet over here. The 90% rule is from the book Minimalism by Greg McKeown. And he says to rank every opportunity from 1 to 100. Anything that you would rank below a 90 instantly becomes a 0, okay? I tested this 2 summers ago, I think it was. And for this whole summer, I decided I was going to do the 90% rule. I had a speaking opportunity come up on the East Coast that I ranked an 88. And I made it a 0. And I was so scared to do that. And what ended up happening is 5 weeks later, I had a 100, like absolutely have to do this opportunity come up also on the East Coast that I would have missed had I said yes to the first one. So it's all about making room for the opportunities that you really, really, really want to do. And I would encourage you to try it. I have had great success. I use the 90% rule all the time. It's worked really well for me. And then the last thing is more on like the business front. What is it that you want to be known for? So if you have a client that is one of your favorite people and they know that you're capable of doing so many things, but they ask you to do something that isn't in your sweet spot, be confident, unapologetically confident in saying no to that trusted client and say, you know what? That's not where I want to put my time and energy. And it's better to do that than to present less than your like brightest area, in my opinion. And I'll tell you why. I said yes to a speaking engagement a couple years ago with a Fortune 100 company, and I did a fine job, but I didn't knock it out of the park. And when I speak, when I leave a workshop environment, I don't want people to feel anything less than like, oh my gosh, that was the greatest workshop I've ever experienced, right? So be really selective on what it is you want to be known for, what opportunities you say yes to, and how it aligns with your priorities. So I will leave you with my favorite coaching question. I'm sure you've heard it a million times, but if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? Be really like honest with yourself on what your yeses and nos mean, and be confident in what you're saying yes to and what you're saying no to at the same time, and how that aligns with your business, with your family, with whatever it is that you have going on with your life currently. If any of this message felt like that it really resonated with you, I would encourage you to go download my free guide. It's Shedding the Shoulds. It will lead you through exercises to get you really clear on what your priorities are and what it means for you to be able to shed shoulds and set boundaries in a way that will set you up for success. So if you go to reganwalsh.com, you can download the shoulds guide right on the homepage. So thanks so much for your time. I hope you have an awesome summer, that you say yes to all the things that bring you joy and excitement, and that you say no to all the things that maybe are a snooze fest or don't really align with how you want to spend your summer. So have an awesome summer. Thanks.